Tonight, I'm very happy to welcome an actress, writer, producer, and singer, Judi Beecher, originally from New York, right, Judy?
Yes, I am originally from New York. I'm actually in New York right now at the
Great.
moment.
How's everything? Thank you very much for joining the live. I know you are busy, and busy is good nowadays, especially for artists.
Yes, it is. It's very good.
Judy, I've been running through your internet movie database and your website. Um, I want to know how did you make, I think, the reverse voyage. A lot of European artists would like to go to New York or Los Angeles, Hollywood to work in the United States, but as an American, you moved to Europe and started to work in French in Italy, in cinema, television, and on stage. How did it happen?
Well, like my song, which just came out today, which is it's called Paris Ooh La La, which is about an
Yeah.
American woman obsessed with France. When I was 19 years old, I was obsessed with Paris. I don't know where it came from. It just all of a sudden I had to go to France, and I went to
Yes.
school there. So I went during between my freshman, my junior and senior year. I went to France, and I didn't want to come back. And the second
Really?
I graduated, I did go back to New York. And the second I graduated, I went right back to France again, and I stayed for a few years, and I did all sorts of things there, and I worked in a bank, I modeled, I sang, and um, and then I started acting when I came back to the States, and it was like any excuse to get me back to Europe, to get me back to France. Um, and so when I did finally come back, I was an actress, and I said, let me see if I can act in France as well. And at
Yes.
the time, they wouldn't. It was much easier to model in France because you didn't need papers. But when I went back, they said, well, I was up for a role, and I was going to play Catherine Deneuve's daughter, and they didn't want to cast me because I wasn't legal to work there. And so I went to find out about getting, because my mother was born in Germany, getting my German nationality. So I did,
Mhm.
and which allowed me to be able to work anywhere in Europe. So now
Yes.
I'm legal when I go over there to work. So yes, and then I started booking different jobs in France. Every time I was there, I'd book another job, and yeah, so that's how I started working in France. And I love it. And it's true. Most French actors or Italian or everyone else wants to come to the States to do it. I have so much fun working over there. That it's really great. It gives me an excuse to be in Europe, to go there. So yes, I
Yes,
still work
France.
in the States.
Uh, uh, France and Paris has a very exotic, vision for Americans, even in classic cinema. When and Also for Woody Allen, he did some of his films in Europe, and I think he's most acclaimed in Europe in his latest film more than the United States, and you worked with him. But tell me, what is your impression about Europe and France, especially? What did you like about the culture, the food, the people, or something else?
I can't tell you what it was that I when I first went to Europe for the first time, I felt like I was home. It was a very
Yeah.
strange thing. I
Mhm.
had never been there before, and I got there, and I just felt like I had lived here before, that I was just going home. That's the feeling that I had. And I, Paris itself, the architecture is so beautiful and so amazing, and it's so romantic in Paris. And even though I was like living there, I never took it for granted ever. I would walk around going, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful here. It's so romantic. It's so incredibly beautiful." And it's a big city, but it's like a softer feel than New York. It's more softer, and everything has history. Like wherever you go, there's history for everything. You walk down the streets, and it's still the same as it
Yeah.
was. It's just so beautiful. So I love that. I think it's the architecture. I love speaking French. I love, I don't know, I love all things French. It's just like it's.
Yes, I've seen recently you got a lot of acclaim since the release of Tango Shalom. And of course, we know Tango Shalom is like salam in Arabic, is hello or peace upon you in Hebrew. And I want to know, how did you been cast in this film, and how was your experience filming and promoting it later on?
Tango Shalom has a very special place in my heart. I met
Yes.
the writer, producer, actor, Claudio Lamiato, when I was in Cannes at the Cannes Film Festival. I cast him in a short film. I had won a little competition. I written a little short, and I had to shoot it while I was in Cannes. And I met him, and he was kind of weird and was very kooky, and he was perfect, like for a sleazy producer. And so he was in my little movie. And then when I came back to the States, he said, I have this film that I wrote. We're doing a reading. Would you like to come? And so I came to the other reading. And I went through it and looked for my part. I said, "Where's my part?" I couldn't find my part. And I had one line in the whole thing. And but I was a big part, but I had one line. I said, "You have to develop this a little more." It's just characters. It's all about her and the wedding and this, and she has one line. So that was many years ago. And then eventually they got the funding for it, and they cast me in this part. They offered me the role, and then they opened up the lead role of Rachel, the white rabbi, to unknowns, and I begged them to let me audition for it. And I had three very, very, very challenging auditions, and these were friends. You think of the people you don't know. These are people I knew now. It was probably the hardest auditions I've ever had. But I had always envisioned myself as this part. The other part that they had given me was a role that was just like very similar to me. It would have been me playing me. And the role of Rachel was read at that reading by, I think, Angelica Page, who was reading it. And I just really felt connected to the part because I come from, parts of my family are like that. I come from a town where I just knew I had to play well. And I always saw myself playing it. So, and then I became a producer of the movie. I was able to, when I went to the Cannes Film Festival, I randomly met someone who was interested in any of my projects and got invested in Tango Shalom. It was right before they started shooting, or a week or two before shooting. So it was a
Yes.
really cool thing, and the film is so beautiful because it's about peace,
Yes.
and it's about bringing cultures and religions together, which is something which is very dear to me because it's very, very
Yes.
spiritual. And I just feel like everybody is the same. People just don't know that everybody is the same. And if we all would see that we are the same, even though we're different, then there wouldn't be war, and there wouldn't be peace. And even our religions are so much the same, but the religion, the wars become because everybody thinks that they're right and the other one is wrong. When it's not true, we're all right. It's all right. It's just
Yes.
right in a different way. And that's the message of Tango Shalom, and that's why it's so dear to my heart. And it's gotten a lot of acclaim around the world, not just the Jewish population, but everyone loves it because it's
Of
about
course.
bringing people together.
Yes. I hope we can see more of films that bring people, I mean, culture-wise and religion-wise all together, especially right now we are very critical. All the news we are hearing are not very good news, from all around. And I think it is a very good time for art and artists to create such a project that bring us from different culture, nationality, languages, because at the end of the day, we are all under the same sky on the same earth as well, same planet. Uh,
Exactly.
Judy, right now I see you have many projects marked as filming, uh, like this car that scares me, the lies we tell ourselves, El Mar. I think this is an Italian project. You know, tell us where can we see you in the next period? On film, on television, on stage. What are you preparing?
Well, I'm doing the film myself, which is a 1950s film noir. So we're right in the middle of production. There's things that are in the middle of those things right now. Um, and you can watch my music video too, which just came out today
Yes.
on YouTube. It just premiered a few hours ago.
Yeah, this is great. Yes.
It's called Paris Ooh La La, or Paris Ooh La La. So you can
Yes.
watch. Um, and these other
Uh,
films are at different stages of finishing right now. So it all depends.
yes. And Judy, tell me, I think you've been done everything related to arts, but I want to ask you, do you have a certain dream role or project you would like to realize in the coming future?
The dream role or project. Um, yeah, I want to. I'd like to write a TV series actually. Um,
Yeah.
and but I would just what I see myself will films that have some sort of a message in it,
Yes.
with A-list actors, and because it will get around the world quicker, and yeah, a meaningful role. I myself like. I love dramedy. I mean, I love drama and comedy. So when you
Of
mix
course.
them together, I always end up doing characters that have some sort of like this that is very serious on what they're going through. There's some sort of a
Yes.
little something a little comedic, even if it's a drama. Um, I'm, that's my strong my strong thing. Strong thing. And even in like my music that I do as well, I always there's funny stuff that's kind of I want to bring happiness to people. I want people to learn to have these like aha moments,
Yes.
in things that I act in and things that I do. Because I know after a long time of working on myself, of working in the business, it's happiness is a choice, and
Yes.
you choose to be happy every day, and so that's why I like content that's happy,
This is
like a feel good movie as well. So,
excellent. Très bien. Merci beaucoup, Judy, pour
I know.
cet entretien. I want to thank you very much for this interview. I wish you all the best in your upcoming projects. And right now, I will finish this live. I will go to see Oh La La, Paris.
Great.
Maintenant, I wrote in
Paris,
the
ooh
chat
la
here,
la.
à Paris, Oh La La, avec Judy Beecher. And thank you very much. And I hope next time we have a live from your next project on location or on the red carpet of your next premiere.
That would be beautiful. I will be them right there.
Thank you, Judy. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Au revoir.
Au revoir.